Our next presentation is entitled Freudophobia, Why Christians Should Not Fear Freud's Psychodynamic Theories. Please welcome Isabella Pakula.
The Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage, only to meet disaster when Captain Smith ignored 6 warnings about an impending iceberg. The ship collided with the iceberg, splitting in two, and began its tragic descent into the icy waters below. Though only 10% of the iceberg was visible, the remaining 90% lay buried beneath the surface, unseen and dangerous. The image of the iceberg mirrors the human mind. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, compared our conscious mind to the tip of an iceberg, suggesting that while 10% of our thoughts are conscious, the remaining 90%, like the submerged iceberg, lies buried in the unconscious. So, what is the unconscious and why does it matter? Freud developed groundbreaking theories on the unconscious and repression. He divided the unconscious into 2 parts: the latent, which is accessible through conscious thought, and the repressed, which holds repressed memories and painful experiences. To bring these repressed aspects into awareness, Freud developed psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is a kind of talk therapy that helps people understand how their past experiences may be causing current emotional struggles. However, Freud's conception of psychoanalysis has sparked controversy due to its reliance on subjective interpretation. Christians are especially skeptical of Freud's theory of the unconscious because it challenges the notion of the soul. Given these challenges, what should our response be as Christians to Freud's various theories? Although some Christians reject Freud for his atheism and controversial views on sexuality, I argue that Christians should accept and incorporate Freud's theory of the unconscious and psychoanalysis because these theories provide a unique understanding of repressed material while also fitting within a Christian psychological framework. First, we should accept Freud's theory of the unconscious because it provides profound insight into the human soul. The unconscious is not just a psychological concept. It is a spiritual concept as well, often manifesting itself in reality in unexpected ways. When left unexamined, the unconscious can fester beneath the surface, fueling distress, dysfunction, and even generational trauma. A clinical psychologist, Stephen Mitchell, in his book Freud and Beyond, addresses the impact of childhood trauma. In it, he says that a person may only recall fragments of what occurred in their childhood due to their conscious mind shielding them away from the full weight of the past event. Yet, the unconscious remembers. It stores the unresolved emotions, the hidden grief, the silent wounds. Ultimately, the healing that psychoanalysis offers motivates us to discover the root cause of current, reoccurring struggles. The second reason we should accept Freud's psychoanalysis is that the conflict between our desires and moral values must be confronted in order for true healing to occur. One key aspect of understanding the unconscious is the role of the id. Imagine the id as a stubborn toddler in a candy shop, knowing they're not supposed to touch anything, yet grabbing candy off the shelves anyway. Like a toddler who does not care about the consequences, the id just wants the satisfaction right now. The Apostle Paul captures the sentiment perfectly when he says in Romans 7:15, "For I do not understand my own actions, For I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate. His words speak to the struggles between our desire and discipline, between our ideals and our instincts. Nonetheless, this internal struggle is manageable, and it can, more importantly, be overcome through psychoanalysis. As Freud once said, the id is like a man on horseback. It is the force of what drives our desires, but without guidance, it can lead us astray. For Christians, this conflict is especially significant, as the tension between following one's desires and adhering to moral values can be deeply unsettling. My third point is that psychoanalysis presents a vision of the soul that resonates with Christian thought. Because psychoanalysis fosters the soul, it offers lasting healing and restoration. Like faith, psychoanalysis is not a quick or easy process. It is an arduous, lifelong journey of growth, surrender, and restoration. This growth, surrender, and restoration that psychoanalysis offers mirrors the Christian walk. Just as spiritual maturity requires dedication, so too does psychoanalytic healing. And this dedication must come from both the patient and therapist. Without it, progress will not be made in the therapy session or the individual's mental health journey. However, when both the patient and therapist fully commit, then therapy can become a space where we can confront our daunting shadows and emerge as renewed individuals. Only by confronting and working through the repressed parts of ourselves can we lead a life of lasting healing. Some may say that psychoanalysis is not practical because of how time-consuming the process is. I argue that its depth is what allows us to be liberated from our suffering. I acknowledge this concern and agree that for those in need of quicker treatment, a more immediate approach may be beneficial. However, Doctor of Psychology Earl Bland says that psychoanalysis is the most sophisticated method of therapy we know. But with this sophistication comes a deep commitment of time. While short-term relief is sometimes warranted and needed, psychoanalysis offers us something deeper, a more profound method of healing. Nonetheless, it is the commitment to psychoanalysis that enables a deep, transformational experience. In conclusion, Sigmund Freud's creation of psychoanalysis challenges us to discover the deep parts within ourselves. Think back to the iceberg. The hidden 90% represents our thoughts, emotions, and experiences we often ignore. But real growth can't happen if we stay at the surface. Don't wait for a personal crisis to force you into self-reflection. Start now. Dig deeper so your anxiety doesn't rule you and your depression doesn't sink you. I'm not saying everyone needs to go to therapy, but take a first step. Look within and talk to someone you trust. As Freud once said, catch your thief before you hang him. Thank you.